Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar podcast. I am talking to an Amazon influencer and seller at KathleenKobel.com. And what she does is she helps entrepreneurs, content creators, and Amazon influencers build profitable, sustainable income streams without the burnout part. So I'm excited to be talking to Kathleen Kobel. Hey, Kathleen, you ready to rock?
I am so ready to rock, Tim.
Awesome. We always start off on a good note. So tell me a story of success that you can be inspired by.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite success stories was really just when I found this opportunity of being an Amazon influencer. I've been selling on Amazon for over 15 years. I've helped thousands of brands launch their stores. And, if you've ever tried to sell something on Amazon, it seems simple until you start doing it, right?
Mm,
And so, after a long time of doing that, I really got burnt out. It was a lot of work, a lot of meetings, a lot of team, a lot of team issues, things like that. And I just wanted to find a way to pivot. And so I discovered this program, not really realizing I was working on a client's product listing page, and I discovered these videos, and I was so confused because we didn't put those videos on there, and I didn't know who was in those videos, but they were talking such great things about my clients' products, and I knew I just needed to learn more about who is this person and why are they promoting my clients' products without us having to do anything. And so I dove a little bit deeper and started doing it myself. And quite honestly, it's really just completely changed my life, pivoted my business, and it's one of my favorite stories to tell people because, especially, I've been in the corporate world for a long time. I've worked for small businesses doing the 10 jobs of one person doing 10 jobs, right? And so I really see it as a success story because it's just something that came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it, but I kind of took a leap of faith, and it's completely changed everything for the better.
wow. Wow, that is really cool. And so, wow. Now, along with the good note, though, sometimes there's things that don't go as planned. And I do like to bring those things out because I'm sure it wasn't all sunshine and roses right from the beginning. You did come up with some struggles. I'm wondering, can you share with us one that we can recover from?
Yeah, I think one of the struggles was just really like knowing what to do, but also like getting help from people. Like you start something new, and even though like I had a background in kind of the Amazon space, when I started doing this, not a lot of people were doing it. So I would reach out to people that I knew in the space, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I was kind of just on my own. And it is tough to try to figure things out on your own, especially when you're reaching out for help and you just can't find anybody who is there to help you, right? You kind of just feel like you're on an island. And so, as but we also have so many resources available to us, right? And so, no matter if you're trying to learn something new or you're trying to recover from a failure, I just think it's always so important to look on the bright side and be creative with the resources that you can find nowadays. Because eventually, I found a great group of people that were doing the same thing that I was doing, and I just felt at home. I could talk in this nerdy Amazon language and they knew exactly what I was talking about, and we would help each other. And it really went from like frustration every day to try to figuring this program out to like, oh my gosh, these are my people. And they really brought me out of that like frustration that I just couldn't seem to get past doing it on my own.
Wow, yeah. And I know, by the way, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've actually set up some Amazon stuff for myself as well. And it's you'd think that it'd be super simple, especially for someone who's kind of computer oriented like I am. But it's not. I mean, they use all these weird terms and there's lots of like red tape to go through and there's just weird kind of stuff that happens that you're like, what is that? Now,
Mhm.
I'm sure my life was a little bit easier because I used ChatGPT to help me through some of it. I don't know if that existed when you did it, but I love your idea of finding a group of people that can help you through it, right?
Yeah, most definitely. No, and ChatGPT, while it was not available when I first started, it
Yeah.
is a huge help right now. I mean, if anyone's not using it, even just for basic stuff, ask a question, get a nice response and just kind of go from there. I try to use it as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, and even though I did use ChatGPT, I still there was some mistakes that I ended up
Hmm.
like trying to submit something and then I got a message back. Well, I was doing it through the Kindle type stuff, but I would get a message back saying this doesn't isn't approved. And I'm like, oh, chat doesn't really know it all, I guess.
Not
So
yet.
yeah, eventually maybe. But yeah, so I think finding a group of people is pretty good. Like, how did you find that group anyway?
I actually found them on Facebook. So yeah, there was a group. Well, I had a colleague who like we had done some stuff on Amazon together and we just kind of formed our own friendship because we were kind of doing the same things. And she actually introduced me to this group on Facebook. And it was just a small group of maybe like 12 or 14 people that kind of were early adopters of the program. And she's like, hey, because I told her about the opportunity, right? And then she came back a couple months later and was like, hey, I found this group of people. I met this guy. He formed this group. Do you want in? And I'm like, this is the help I've been needing. Yes, yes, thank you.
Yeah. Isn't that great how I think like we live in this golden age right now where just about any business that you want to run, there's somebody out there that is doing something similar. Now, hey, I mean, if you find something that there's nobody doing, well, then that's probably even better because now you're onto something, especially if there's demand for it. But even though you might not be able to find somebody doing exactly what you're doing, you'll find somebody that's doing something similar that can help you through things, right?
Most definitely. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the most exciting thing for people that are because I know that in the regular job market, I don't know how it is in your city, but it kind of seems the same everywhere where, a lot of jobs are sort of disappearing for whatever reason or pay is getting lowered and, people are looking for something to do on the side or even to replace what they're currently doing. And it sounds to me like what you're doing specifically might be something that would be a good little transition point because, maybe you don't necessarily need to just quit your job and start doing this. Maybe you can do something like that on the side and not lose the stability of your paycheck, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of how I did it, but I had my own business at the time, right? So when I first discovered the Amazon influencer program, I had this, Amazon marketing agency and I had lots of clients. I had, a team under me and everything, but it was no nobody really knew about it, right? And so like I said, when I kind of pivoted, it was almost like that became my side hustle to my own business, right? I was still able to run my own business and meet with the clients and do the work and meet with the team and all that good stuff, but kind of on the side I started creating these videos like, could this be something more than what I'm already doing? And thankfully it did morph into something more, and now it's my full-time gig, for sure. But that's how I started. Was I did it on the side and grew it into earning enough money to where I could kind of dwindle down my agency. I still have a few clients I work with. I call them my A plus plus clients.
Mm.
But that became, I did start my own side hustle with this, and anyone very much can. You can work. I love this opportunity because you could work 20 minutes a day on it. You could work 2 hours a day on it. You
Yeah.
could set it down for 2 weeks and come back. Like I have three small kids. So, they come first with everything. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I didn't do any content today. There's always tomorrow. There's always more time to do it. And I'm still earning because I have all these videos that are still earning for me. So I could very much do this
Yeah.
on the side.
Yeah, that's really cool that they've got some passive, maybe not passive, maybe residual. I'm not sure which one it would be, but actually probably passive, right? Because
Passive.
it's something that
Mm-hmm.
you've already done and you're not actually, yep, keeping up on it. That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
passive income's awesome.
definitely.
Now,
The best
so
kind.
yes, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about practicing. So, I mean, I mean, in anything, you've got to kind of keep some regular practice time. What do you do? Like, is there something that you have, routines or something like that to make sure that you're up to date on everything?
Yeah, I think one thing I really struggled with when I first started doing this kind of content was the video aspect. I didn't really
Mm,
do a lot of video. And for me, video was uncomfortable. Like it took me a while to be able to do those sales calls. I could do hated sales calls in the beginning and, practice makes perfect. I got better at sales calls with my agency. But when I first started creating these videos, I would get very nervous. I didn't like watching my videos after and doing the editing.
Hmm.
And so, it definitely didn't come naturally or easy to me, but the more I made the videos, the more I practiced, the more I kind of refined my technique in, having bullet points or having a script to use, or, maybe I'm not going to get on, on camera this time. I'll just be behind the camera. And so the more content I created as far as video goes, the easier and kind of more natural it came to me. And now I pretty much just flip on the camera and have an idea or two in my mind, and it just kind of flows. And years ago, it was not like that at all. It took
Yeah.
a lot of practice to get there.
Yeah, I hear you. It's the first few, and like videos are so different than like an interview. Like when you're talking to somebody, you get this instant feedback, but these videos are just they're awkward. Like it's like you're just like talking to nobody with no answer back, but literally there's a bunch of people on the other side. Right? Yeah.
Right, right. And you don't know because you don't have feedback, right? It's not like when you're on stage performing
Yeah.
and you can look
Yep.
at the audience and you can tell if they're having a great time or if they're bored. You have no idea when you're creating these videos. You just kind of make them and post them and hope for the best. But then, kind of like going back to, watching the tape, after the game, it's like, what did I do that was great? What did I do that was not great? And how can
Yeah.
I be better next time?
Yeah, I think that's the key there is like because I do remember when lockdowns happened and we started kind of doing these like live streams and stuff like that. It was just so different when you were playing and there's like dead silence on the other side. You finish a song and nothing. It's like,
Right? And
oh,
you're looking
you know,
around like, where's right?
did they
And then you have
like
to go
it?
to
I
the
don't
chat.
know.
I watched a lot of my favorite bands on live stream in 2020, and I would always just be in the chat. You guys rock, because you can't. I can't
Yeah.
imagine, yeah, having no feedback whatsoever.
Oh, it's super awkward. But like what you just said, the big benefit to that is that you can watch it afterwards and you can learn from it, right? Whereas at a live show, and I took some of that stuff in my music, just kind of off topic a little bit. Now I actually record a lot of my shows because I just found it so useful to be able to go back. Because sometimes when and this is the same thing in a sales call. Sometimes you finish a sales call and you're like, oh, something was wonky, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, right?
Hmm.
But if you had recorded it, then you could go back and go, oh, that's what happened. I kind of lost them here. I said this and I should have said this. Oftentimes it's a but instead of an and. It's one of those things, right? But you know what I mean? It's super useful to have those recordings to go back on and to hone that craft, right? Right?
Yeah, most definitely. And it's, watching yourself, and I think also, watching other people, right? Watching other content creators, watching
Mhm.
other musicians, like what can you learn from things that they're doing too, right? Because if you keep yourself on an island, then it's really hard to improve. You can improve whatever's going on in your own head, but without that feedback and, without having other people there too, it just kind of it makes it harder.
Yeah. And I think that what you just said too, if you can see people doing what it is that you're trying to do, then I think that means you can eventually get there. You just
Yes.
need the work to get to that point. So, like you said, when you first started doing the videos, you're like, oh, this is super awkward and all that stuff. But at least you had a video that you're looking at and you're like, okay, well, I know that it can be done. I can get my videos to that point. I just have to go through I remember, part of someone said this to me, one of my mentors said that, as a musician, the key to becoming a good musician is you have to be okay with sucking for a very long time.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
damn, that's deep, but it's true. It's the key to getting good at anything is being okay with sucking for a long time, right?
It's so true because, and I see this with my kids, and having kids really brings you this self-awareness, right? But I see this with my kids, and they're like, I don't like this. I don't like soccer because I'm not good at it. I'm like,
Mm,
well, but you've only been playing for, 6 months. Maybe you're not as good as the other kids on your team that have been playing for 6 years. It's because you've only been playing for 6 months, and you have to be okay with sucking at it first in order to like get that motivation to want to be better. And I think it's the people that are, I don't want to suck at something. And it really
yeah.
just, it holds them back from so many opportunities that they're missing because they're not willing to be bad at something.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I think that we when we're younger, and this is probably some really great parenting advice, right? To get your kids through that. Because when you're younger, it's like, oh, it's okay. I know I've got to improve. I'm young, right? But as adults, it's way harder to tell an adult that, yeah, you'll get there. You just have to suck first. Because as adults, we don't want to look like we're terrible at anything. And so you're
Right.
starting a business, you're starting from scratch. You're an infant at this point. Like you didn't like tell your kid, well, you might as well give up walking because you're never going to get there. Like they fell a bunch of times, right? And you are too as an entrepreneur.
That's such a great way to look at it. I've never looked at it like, yeah, you start a new business or you start a new venture, you're an infant. You have to learn how to walk. You have to, and we see ourselves as adults and we're like, I should be good at whatever I want to
Yeah,
be good at because I'm a grown up, right? No,
yeah,
it doesn't work
yeah,
that way.
yeah. That was one of the things that, when you become an adult, you realize that adults don't have it all together. As a
No,
kid, you're
no,
like,
not at
oh,
all.
these adults have it all together. I
I
don't,
know, right? I hope my kids think that, at least now.
yeah. Hopefully, you don't listen to this, right?
They're too young. They'll listen when
Yeah,
yeah, they'll listen in 10 years.
they listen when they need it.
Exactly, exactly.
So let's talk about the band. So who is it that you have in your band that you've assembled?
Sure. So I have a small band, but my band is mighty. So I have a virtual assistant over in the Philippines. He's been working for me for 8 years now. I mean, and
Wow.
good help is hard to find. And he is a rock star. He has been with me from the beginning. And something I love about him, and something that, if you're looking for a virtual assistant, he takes direction really well, but he can also pivot really well. Like he went from writing blog posts to like admin data entry to now he does a bunch of my video editing. And so,
Oh,
like, he has really grown with me, and he's someone that if he's listening, he will be on my team forever. I hope he will be on my team forever. He is core. He's probably my lead singer, and then I have an executive assistant who lives probably 4 hours away from me, so she's not local, but she's been with me for quite a few years now, and she helps me with like email correspondence and scheduling and kind of making sure that I'm staying on track when I schedule events with my like community and my members and all that stuff. She's there to help, like, kind of be my right hand with all of that. And then I have contractors that I'll hire here and there. And we talked about the kids for a minute. Like they help me actually a lot with my videos. My daughter will hold the camera for me if I'm doing a demonstration, or my kids will help like test products. We get a lot of products to test now since we're Amazon influencers. So they will test the products. And actually my middle guy, he's about to turn 9. He builds all the furniture that I get from Amazon. And I tell you what, I hate build like, putting those bookshelves together. And he just has this like engineering mind, and he loves Lego. So I'm like, maybe I could teach him. This boy builds all of my furniture for me, and it is just fantastic. So like my kids are in my band too, on top of my small team.
oh, I think that's so good too. And I mean, I'm sure they probably enhance your videos quite a bit too, because I think people like to see families, t together, right, and working together.
Most definitely, it makes it real, especially when, the purpose of the videos I create for Amazon is to like educate the customer on the product, right? It's not about you, it's not really about your family, it's about the product. But like when they see, like a mom with her kids, sitting outside under the gazebo in this new patio furniture, it kind of puts it into perspective like,
Hmm.
oh, yeah, that does look like a good set of furniture. Maybe I can have that quality time with my kids in the backyard, kind of things like that. I think people like it because it's real. I'm not an influencer next to a Lamborghini with, cash money. Like that's not what
Yeah.
it's about at all. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, and I mean, the average person is that with
Yes,
kids and all that stuff, and so they can see themselves as you, I guess, right?
very
And also, you
relatable.
know what? It's very difficult to make kids lie. They tend
That's
to
true.
tell the truth. So if they open something up and they like it, they'll say it. If they don't like it, they'll say it.
That's true. And we've had a few instances where they're like, Mom, this thing broke. I used it once
Yeah.
and this thing broke. And I'm like, well, we got to tell the people because we don't want
Yep.
them to buy this thing and then it's gonna break. So you're right. They're very honest, and I think they help. I think people can see that. That definitely comes through in the content that they're in.
That's awesome. So we've already talked a little bit about learning from the best, and I'm wondering if we can expand on that a little bit more. Like, I mean, do you participate in things like masterminds? Do you have coaches, mentors? Like, how does that all work for you?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I kind of talked about my little group of Amazon influencers, and
Hmm.
they're so incredibly helpful, like especially when it comes to like that piece of my business. But I've been in masterminds, I've hired coaches, and I think everyone needs to have that group of people or that person that is at least one or two steps ahead of them that they
Right.
can just go to for advice. Like even like I said, I do so much outside of the Amazon influencer. I was the mastermind just ended not too long ago, but I was in a mastermind. There were probably 25 of us, and every 3 months we would go meet physically in the same place, and people would take turns giving presentations about certain topics in their business, and it was just so educational and eye-opening. And then like you get to know these people, and they're so open with sharing how they run their business and the struggles they have and the successes they have. Like I recommend Mastermind to anybody who is a full-time entrepreneur for sure, because you need that guidance and people on your level but also ahead of you, because that's how you learn. And same with coaches. Like I pretty much always have a business coach, because then it's someone I can just call and be like, listen, I'm trying to figure out which platform to host my course on. What do you use? What do you recommend? And they'll be like, I've used this one. This stinks. This one is great. You should use this one. And, that's kind of a generic example. But also, again, you want to have people in your corner that support you, but that are also ahead of you,
Mm.
because you never want to be the smartest person in the room. If you are, you're in the wrong room. And so I try to surround myself with people that are on my level or hopefully a step above me, so that I can learn from them, but also, help them in whatever way that I can too.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I mean, part of it is I think you need the social aspect of it, and work from home
Oh,
can be
yes.
pretty lonely, right? I mean, at least in an office, you go to the water cooler and you have some peers, and like you say, you have some people that are ahead of you, some people that are below you, and you can communicate with people. But when you're working from home, especially if you're doing it full time, like you go stir crazy eventually. You have to have something, right? And so maybe some of these masterminds and some of these groups that you can get a part of is a way to get that community without necessarily having to go work in an office, right?
Yes, most definitely. I'm getting flashbacks to like that was like my favorite part about working in an office, was
Yeah, of
like just being
course.
able to go and, go to the water cooler or go travel by the desk of the person that I love to chat with the most, like, oh, I was just staring at my computer for 2 hours. Like, can you talk to me for 5 minutes? And we don't get that working from home. And, while mastermind or a coach is a bit more structured, it's still so critical, because if you stay in your box and you stay on your island, it's just going to stunt you, whether it's in your business or your personal development. And so like community is, you got to have it.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say that I love that we have this video conferencing thing going on now, because it does kind of like, it's not quite the same, like you say, as, sneaking by your, friend's cubicle or whatever it is, but it is pretty awesome that you can actually have these face-to-face meetings and see them react rather than, just on the phone or, on a text message, right? Yeah.
Yes, no, I love it. I think I almost never do audio now, especially like, with my videos with Amazon, it's like I just assume, if I call someone, it's FaceTime. If I'm on
Yeah.
Zoom, we're turning on the camera, and it's so nice to be able to see people even if you are in another country or across the world.
Yeah, me too. I try to not use like the actual phone number as much as possible, because I just think that so much gets lost. And then on the other hand, like we said earlier, we can record these calls, and
Mhm.
it's super useful to have like a note taker sitting in there and taking notes. There's so many things you can do. But back to what you're saying before about the coaches as well, like sometimes it's not even necessarily that they are, teaching you a bunch of stuff. It's just someone to run these ideas across. Because sometimes you can get like really stuck in like indecision. Like you said about, oh, I want to do a new platform. There's so many options, and you're like, oh, which one should I? I mean, when it comes down to it, the coach might just say, well, just pick this one. And really, you could have done that, but it's so much harder without someone saying, just this one. I know it works, right? Um,
Totally. One of my favorite coaches, she was super honest, and I think this is why I liked her. I loved her so much. She literally said, she was like, people pay me to give them permission,
yeah,
and that was, and she's a brilliant marketing mind, and she's a very successful businesswoman, but she's like, people pay me to give them permission to, like, who cares about the course platform? Just decide and then
yeah,
launch the course, because that should be the priority, right? You're getting stuck on this little thing, just pick this one and move on, right?
yeah.
So I like that.
And then rewind right to the beginning. If it's the
Uh-huh.
wrong choice, you've made a mistake, you recover from it.
Yes,
You know,
fail
you
fast.
fix it,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, and pivot quickly, right? Because sometimes you are going to make a mistake, but I mean, I think it's well, I mean, it's always going to be better to make a choice, go in a direction, make a mistake, and change it than to never do anything at all. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's I think one of the biggest lessons that I personally learned going out on my own, was that, you just have to do it. You just have to fail fast. If you don't ever try, it's better to try and fail than it is to never do it. And, I look at my younger days and I'm like, oh, I regret not doing that. Like, I regret not
Yeah,
doing that. And now that I'm an adult and I'm a full-time entrepreneur, I was an adult and I didn't do this, but now that I'm a full-time entrepreneur, I'm like, I don't regret anything because I just go for it now. And I'm not
yeah.
afraid to fail. I fail plenty. I fail every day. But I'm not afraid to go for it anymore.
Yeah, they do say that if you interview people that are at the end of their life, and you ask them for regrets, they never regret things they did. They regret the things they didn't do, right?
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
sure that there's some exceptions to that, but you know, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Totally, totally. But for the most part, right? I
Mhm.
think probably all of us can go look back on things like, yeah, maybe I regret, what I said yesterday to my kid, but I really remember the things, like I really remember, like, not becoming a full-time musician, like not, taking that path. And those are
Mm,
big things that we regret, right? Because we're too scared and, we're not ready.
yeah. So it's time for your guest solo. Tell me what's exciting in your business.
Yes. So, oh, what's exciting? I think, really just so we have so many things are like I have a master class. It makes me really excited because all of the people that I've talked to after the fact have just been able to take these steps that they didn't even know about before. And so my masterclass is all about how to become a six-figure content creator on Amazon. And I think a lot of people just don't even realize that this is an opportunity. And
Mm,
so it really walks you through, like, what is the opportunity, who is it for, and how do you actually get started doing it. And so, I kind of talked about the opportunity, and it's creating content for Amazon, but it really can be passive income. It can be a side thing that you can do while you're still working for the man or working in your cubicle. Or if you have your own business too, you can start this on the side. But it is a really nice opportunity to just start earning money, especially if you already buy stuff on Amazon, like so many of us do. And it's helped a lot of people not only get into the program and start making money, but kind of pivoting their lives in ways where they're able to stay home with their kids, or they're able to pay for that extra vacation every year and things like that. So it's very helpful, but it makes me very excited to hear all the success stories that have come out of it too.
So what would you say would be the personality of someone who would have the most success doing something like this?
Oh, that's a good question because I look at myself and I'm very introverted. Like, I was in a band and I like to be in the back. I was not the lead singer, I was the keyboard player. So I was very happy just back there. I do some background vocals. So, I think of like, you think of like the typical influencer and it's like, look at me, I want to be on
Uh-huh.
camera and that's just not me. So like if that is you, I think like this could still be a good opportunity, but the point of me saying all that is that that doesn't have to be you. Because like I said, I was very nervous to be on video for a very long time. Really the best people that are suited for this are people that are motivated and driven, because you don't need to have a bunch of fancy equipment. You don't need to be a savant in front of the camera. You don't need to have these like, crazy video editing skills. In fact, most of the videos are we just shoot them and upload them because it's natural, it's authentic. I would say the best people for this are people that are just like honest and helpful and able to, I think the biggest thing is you're able to articulate like how a product works. And I don't really think that's hard
Okay.
if you do that, regularly. You just kind of, what is this microphone? What does it, what's the input? What's the output? What do I use it for? Why do I like it? Now you can
Okay.
decide if you want to just very honest, open feedback about a product.
Hmm. I have read somewhere, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I've read somewhere that most musicians are introverts. And
Yeah.
I always thought that that was interesting because, like, what does that even mean? But then I also heard that most musicians that are extroverted looking have these alter egos. And so I'm wondering if there's maybe something there. Maybe they're really an introvert, but they have to like step into a new character in order to actually be that, you know, flamboyant person that they are on stage. But I think that's interesting that you say that as an introvert. Like I guess maybe the thing that I'm noticing is that you're okay with being on stage, but you're still introverted. And
Yes,
I think that there
yes.
would be people that were introverted that are not okay with being on stage. And
Oh,
maybe that
definitely.
wouldn't be the right person for it. Right?
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. Yes. That's like the perfect way to describe it. Because like with the videos, you can be on video, but I have so many people that I teach and that I follow too that are Amazon influencers and they never put their face on video. They're just the voice behind the camera
Ah,
and their videos work great, especially for the Amazon platform because like I said, no offense to real influencers, but Amazon customers don't care about you. They care about the product. So if
yep.
you're highlighting the product and again, you're just giving I'm a mom of three, and this is why I love this outdoor patio furniture set. Like, be relatable, but be honest and like just be your authentic self. And that will make you money on Amazon.
Oh, interesting. And then just to bring it all together, I think most musicians aren't interested. They're not saying, look at me. They're saying, I'm interested in the music.
Yes.
It's about the music. It's not about me, right? And I think that probably is the same thing. If you are the type of person that takes pride in the thing that you're doing, then you're probably going to be pretty good at doing what you're doing, right? Because you take pride in making sure that review is going to be useful for people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a great analogy. I never thought of it like that, but you nailed it.
All right. Well, you're welcome. So, how do we find out more?
So, if anyone's interested in checking out the masterclass, it's totally free. Just go to my website, which is kathleenkobel.com/masterclass. And you can sign up for that free masterclass I talked about. That'll gonna get you more information about the Amazon Influencer Program and what it takes to get in there, and then what it takes to actually start earning money. So, I would say start there. And there's lots of other free information on my website, and I also have a YouTube channel under my name, Kathleen Kobel, tons of free videos and information about the Amazon Influencer Program as well.
Really? So really someone could potentially find out if it's for them for free before they put any money into it.
Oh, definitely, definitely. that's how I like to teach, right? Like, so I do have a course, I do have a paid program, but I like people to go through the free class first because, like, you want to know if this is right for you. You want to know
Yeah.
if this is something that you actually want to do before you invest money into it. Because if I say go buy my course, it could just be a waste of time and money for you and me. Let's make sure it's something you want to do, something you're excited about. And then if you want the accelerated path, and you want to learn directly from me and, be in the community of people that are already doing all of that, then look to the paid program.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, there's a benefit to you as well, like you said, because you get to pre-qualify. People are actually coming to your course with a bit of understanding. And, like you say, that they actually think that they can do this, right? So there's you can save some time and talk to them in the right language, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. It's all about being, you know, kind of motivated. I've had plenty of people say, this looks like a really easy opportunity. Can I just make a quick, few
Yeah,
thousand? And, I'm like, that's not really how it works. The way I teach is this is a sustainable long-term income stream. We follow all the rules from
yeah,
Amazon so that it becomes a passive long-term income stream for you, whether you're making videos today or not.
yeah. Just be okay with sucking at first.
Exactly. And your first videos will suck. Just accept
Right.
it, get over it. And once you see the money start coming in, it'll be great motivation to get over it.
Yep. And then you'll be teaching this to someone else down the line. Just get through your first few videos and you'll be fine. Right.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for rocking out with me today. This is the last and most difficult question, I think. But who's your favorite rock star?
Well, my favorite rock star, Stevie Wonder, for
Oh,
sure. He's
love it.
just he's such a rock star. He's just someone that, like, ever since I was a kid, like, his whole story is just so inspirational, and like his genre of music, like, I can get down to anything he's written or anything that like sounds like him. Like, Stevie Wonder is my favorite rock star of all time for sure.
That's awesome. My favorite thing from him is that I watched a documentary. I think which one was it? It's like one of those collaboration videos. I think it was like the We Are the World one, or well, I can't remember which song it actually was. I think it was oh, Michael Jackson and somebody else that created. Anyway, but in that video, they had Bob Dylan in there, and at one point, uh, Bob was like scared, it looked like, in this group of all these crazy musicians. And he's a songwriter, right? I mean, and he's got this specific style to him. And at some point it got to him and he had this one line that he had to say, and he was just struggling to trying to figure out how he was going to say it. And Stevie Wonder is such a great mimic, and he goes, oh yeah, it's just say it like this. He just like coached him on what to say, and Bob was like, oh yeah, I could do that. That's great. And then he does his line, and it's just so cool how Stevie Wonder is just such a great musician and such a great person. He just seemed to be the type of guy that was like, I'm gonna help you through this, man. Here, watch me.
Oh, that's
Right?
so
It's so
sweet. I
cool.
haven't seen that, but I'm gonna go look for it now. That's so
Look it
cool.
up. Yeah, I can't remember which song it was. It was one of those We Are the World type things. I can't remember which one it was,
Yeah.
if it was that one or if it was another one.
Okay.
But it was great. Anyways, yeah, thank you so much for that, Stevie Wonder, great rock star. So thank you for rocking out with me today. And thank you to the listeners for listening. Make sure you go to workathomerockstar.com for more information. And we'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar podcast.